My video is off.
What?
So if your name shows up, there's the voice.
There's the dog.
No picture. Twinsie. Okay, who's got the hospital there?
Go to them.
Christine.
Carrie Kelleher.
Julie.
Somebody's upside down. Nancy, you still upside down?
Still upside down.
Kelly's upside down.
Let me know.
It's not a bad way to be these days.
There you go.
I can be here live on.
Oh, she's
All about perspective.
You just told me.
Always don't have names. I got cinnamons.
Weird.
Satan is on.
Sabrina!
Oh, I missed it.
My goodness, there's so many.
To the side, and then there's a Zoom chat.
How do I do that?
Nancy, you're upside down.
Yeah. I knew on Javier.
I think she's aware. She just can't fix it.
You know, the sad part is all this time we've never noticed Nancy being upside down.
I hide it well.
What is that? Who's got the phone?
Really, you don't realize you're making it.
No.
Yeah.
So, Claire.
Claire's here.
Claire's somewhere.
Here, Shamgosian, show your face.
Boy, there's some frenetic energy on Zoom today. It's almost like we've been cooped up in our homes for the last couple of weeks. So before we get going, if I could just ask everyone to mute themselves.
Mute ourselves.
I assure you we can make some noise at the end.
Oh, yeah!
Once we open it up to Q&A, but just so that we can get some ground covered.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like for everyone to be muted. Pretty please. And of course, you gotta love technology. I know that our team here has been working to make sure that the number for this call would be capped at 500. Yet I'm getting some frantic text messages saying that we're capped at 100. And there are some people being locked out. So if we could just take another minute or two to maybe work out this kink. And also just that everyone knows I am recording this. And so as long as everyone behaves themselves and I don't screw up too badly, I will share this with the community later on this afternoon or this evening. All right, well, why don't we jump in, and those folks that are locked out, I'm hoping that as the call goes on, maybe they can join. So first off, good afternoon, and welcome to our first ever.
So Zoom has a max of 100 people, so you're at the max, unless you go to max Zoom webinar, which then can go to like 500, but it's a different charge and fees and structures, things like that. So that's why you're stuck at 100.
Well, no, we had already worked that out with Zoom. Or at least we thought we had 48 hours ago, because we were anticipating that a lot of people would log on. So I know that Mr. King, our IT director, who's been our hero around here the last couple of weeks, I think he's on with tech support right now. So apologies for anyone that's not on. So welcome to our first ever virtual town hall. I am so excited to see everyone. I've missed all these faces. It's strange that it's only been 2 weeks since we've been on break. I think with everything that has happened in our world over the last 14 days, it feels like it's been about 3 or 4 months since I've seen everyone. On this call today, we have students, we have teachers, we have parents, we have some alumni, and then certainly my admin team who has been doing just a tremendous amount of work over the last couple of weeks to make sure that we are going to be all set for our virtual launch on Wednesday. So just a couple things before we go. So I am asking everyone to mute. Of course, the exception being maybe Miss Aitken and Miss Calitri and Mr. McLaughlin and Mr. King and Mr. Abel. There will be some certain points, especially during the Q&A, where I will kind of point to you. So if you folks can unmute so that you can chime in if I miss something or speak out of turn. Second, I already indicated that we are recording this. And so my hope is that when this is all over, I can share this with the rest of the community, especially those of us who were either locked out or just were unable to attend. And then the third thing, I am hoping to just kind of plug away through our agenda and to respond to questions at the end. So I hope that we've all found the chat button on the Zoom platform. So as time goes on, if you have questions, maybe you could just type them into the chat. And then once we wrap up with the agenda and we start with the Q&A, I can start to work my way down there. Sound good? All right, sounds good, everyone. Thanks so much. So the first agenda point is really just the welcome, which is what I've already been doing. I hope that everyone enjoyed my toilet paper juggling skills on the video yesterday. I think it's so easy these days to just get down and out and see what we don't have. And I was just trying to provide a little bit of levity and happiness in our lives. So I hope that you all enjoyed that. I've been thinking a lot about gratitude the last couple days. And in thinking back in my life, it might sound weird. I think some of the times where I was the most grateful in my life, it was when I had just returned from a camping trip. I'm not sure how many of you were outdoorsmen or outdoors women. I was a big athlete. I loved going outdoors, but I was not much of a camper. And in one of my first jobs, every summer we had to go on a 4 or 5 day camping trip. And although I loved the trip itself, you know, by the time it was over, I was just really ready for some of the creature comforts that I had really gotten used to in my life. So I would always love that first meal that I had, the first hot shower, indoor plumbing. And I never really thought of myself as a guy that took a lot of things for granted. Yet coming back from those camping trips, I just felt a profound sense of some of the simpler things in life. And I always wish that I could have, you know, kind of bottled up that gratitude and saved it for a day where I was just kind of feeling sorry for myself. Maybe a day like today. And just over the last couple of weeks, since so many of the things that I know at least I take for granted, being able to see my family, my friends, going outside, coming to work, just these normal things that, again, I just take for granted. Given that these things have been taken away from us so quickly and suddenly, I am both thankful for the things that are now gone, or at least that are on pause for the time being, and I'm also thankful for the things that I do have. I have spent so much more time with my family. That can cut both ways, as I'm sure it can for your families. I know the last 3 days in the Folan household, we have been navigating our launch to virtual learning. And with a kindergartner, a second grader, and third grader, I'm sure you can imagine how that's going. I've been really grateful for just some of the quiet and calmness. I think I've read more in the last couple of weeks than I had maybe in the last year or two combined. So even though I know that a lot is not going well and our lives have been completely interrupted, I hope that we are also taking a moment or ideally a couple of moments to really pause and to be thankful and grateful for all that we do have. And so with that, I will kind of get off my soapbox and start to dig into this afternoon's agenda. What I want to talk about next is just kind of the three guideposts that I hope that can set the tone for our community in these next couple days as we make this launch into virtual learning. So these three guidelines are one, I really want to build community and connection. Two, I want for all of us to be flexible and nimble. And three, I want for us to either stay or to get curious. And I'm going to elaborate on these three things. So building community and connection. So I think one of the advantages that we have is that, you know, some of our friends out on the West Coast, particularly Seattle, Washington, they have been doing this distance learning thing now for 2 or 3 weeks. And so some of the biggest pieces of advice they have given us are really just as important as our classrooms are. It's also really important to make sure that our students, our parents, and our teachers, that we are connected with one another. And we're going to go over the virtual schedule that we have, but I hope that you've seen that the work that, you know, Ms. Aitken, Ms. Calitri, Mr. McLaughlin, that some of these folks have done. We are intentionally trying to build community, even though we are not going to be able to, you know, be with one another in person. So let's make sure that in the coming days and weeks, we are intentionally, you know, reaching out to one another, we're connecting, and we're still building that community, which really is the hallmark of the PCD culture. Number two, be flexible and nimble. Again, some of our folks out in Seattle, they have just really recommended that it's important to plan, and it's also important to solicit feedback from all of our constituents and to pivot and to make changes wherever possible. So that schedule that we sent out yesterday, that's what we are going to go with for the first couple days. That might not be what it looks like on April 7th or April 8th, based off of how things are going. And so I hope that there will be a sense of understanding from you folks as we navigate this uncharted territory together. And then the third thing, you know, get curious or stay curious. You know, I've heard from parents over the last 8 or 9 months, even though I've really tried to be very accessible. You know, Kevin, I just didn't want to bother you. I want you to bother me. I want you to bother the folks on my team. Don't hesitate to send an email. Don't hesitate to reach out. Don't hesitate to set up a Zoom call so that we can figure this out together. What does it also mean? I hope it also means get curious about your family members. I've really enjoyed my family dinners, talking to my kids about what have they learned. And I think it's also important for us as parents to model what does it mean to be curious. As tempting as it is each night to turn on Netflix or another show, can I read? What am I doing to learn and not just kind of veg out? So I encourage all of us, whether we're students, parents, teachers, let's make sure we're being curious. We are modeling for our students what it means to be a student, what it means to be curious. I'm going to pivot now to sharing with you the virtual plan and schedule that Jen Aitken sent out yesterday. Now I'm going to share my screen and hope that this works. Can we all see it? Okay, so a couple of people have reached out to me proactively and said, you know, Kevin, I'm really worried. I want to make sure that my son or my daughter or my student can still, you know, have that one-on-one time with teachers. And so I hope that you're able to see both in the morning and in the afternoon, we've got quite a bit of time built in there for office hours. So as it says here, all faculty will be available for scheduled individual support or small group work with students via Zoom, email, and or phone. So we've got that first thing in the morning from 8:15 until 9, and then also in the afternoon from 1:45 to 2:30. I hope that our students are also profoundly grateful for the fact that we are maybe letting you sleep in some more. If you want to take advantage of those office hours in the afternoon and not wake up early, I hope that you enjoy that. And as a result, we better be engaged during these class times. I think one of the great debates with teachers over these last couple weeks and months has been, do you go with an asynchronous or a synchronous schedule? Asynchronous meaning that we will provide students with work and they do it on their own time frame. Synchronous means that we provide an actual schedule. And I think this schedule will reflect a bit of a hybrid. We really thought that it was important to provide at least some semblance of a schedule. I think structure, especially for teenagers, is really, really important. And so you will see this during some of these classroom blocks. I spoke with our upper school student council presidents, Sonia Cruci and Elliot Trendell, yesterday. I am hoping that they are going to assist me in this 9:45 to 10 o'clock slot each day. Again, I think it's going to be really important for us to build out our community and connect with one another in fun, meaningful ways. And so I am planning with their help that those 15 minutes each day will be an opportunity for us to do that. There's going to be a lunch break in there for 45 minutes every single day. I hope, especially also on a day like today, we can get outside and have a little bit of recess. On these black days in the afternoon, we've got some flex time built in there for some meeting times, for some school assemblies, department meetings, faculty meetings, maybe some classes, and then we're also trying to figure out some clubs. We still want to make sure that students are pursuing some of their passions. I think some of our clubs, maybe like our pickleball club, might be a little bit tougher to facilitate one of those club meetings, but I think some of our other clubs, which are more kind of discussion based, I think this time frame might be well suited. And then, of course, at the end of each day, we will wrap up our days with a check-in from advisory. Ms. Hutchinson and Mr. Rocha, they've done a really nice job of building out what this virtual curriculum might look like. And again, we want to provide both an opportunity for some formal discussion, but there's also going to be an opportunity for the advisors to set up these Zoom links, and then maybe the last 10 or 15 minutes for the adults to step off these calls and for the kids to just connect. And as you will see, starting next Wednesday on April 1st, I know this is not an April Fool's prank, we are just going to be going back and forth between our red and our black days. And then we also had some discussion about Friday, April 10th. That is Good Friday. No classes are going to be scheduled for those days. And one of the things I'm going to address with the teachers on Monday and Tuesday during our professional development days is, if you are not really observing this holiday and you want to make yourself available for some office hours, by all means you can. Otherwise, this is still a sacred day for a lot of our families. And so we wanted to make sure that all people had the opportunity to observe this. Again, if there are questions, if there are comments, if there are concerns about the schedule, I hope that you are typing these in to the chat. Ms. Aitken, is there anything that you want to chime in about regarding our the schedule and the plan? Oh, Ms. Aitken's trying to get in. Excuse me. Unfortunately, she was one of the people that was locked out. We're not doing a good job of modeling social distancing right now.
So I was listening. It sounds like you covered details about the schedule, but if anyone has questions, again, you can put them in the chat and we can see if there's anything specific we need to jump in on.
Okay. Thank you. And sorry that you were locked out.
No, it's fine.
Of all the people I didn't want locked out.
Teacher prep, and I'm not sure if this matters a whole lot to our students and to our parents. I think one of the great things is that as the coronavirus, as this was continuing to evolve throughout the month of February and then into March, I think our leadership team is really thoughtful in just doing a lot of prep work with our teachers. So even before we ultimately had to make this decision that we were moving to a distance learning kind of model, our teachers, our department chairs, we were prepared that this is something that we were going to need to do. So far, the one scheduling change we had to make, I know the classes were initially supposed to start on Tuesday, March 31st. So we are just bumping that back one day. So our teachers are now going to have both Monday, March 30th, and then Tuesday, March 31st, to make sure that we are all set. And that prep work is going to be a combination of making sure that we are all feeling comfortable with the Zoom video platform, which is how all of our teachers are going to conduct their synchronous classes. And then, monitoring our Plus portals, Google Classrooms, and then of course, emails, sharing information that way. What if I forgot something on campus? So I don't want to be that guy to say, we told you so, but I told you so. All right. In those final couple days leading up to break, we were encouraging all of our families to make sure that you were bringing all of your books, notebooks, class materials home with you, because we are so kind and understanding here at PCD. We are going to make ourselves available both on Monday and Tuesday for folks to come to campus. So on Monday, the 30th, from 4 to 5 p.m., I will be here for family to drive up. We'll do kind of a drive-through where you come in, you let me know, hey, I need this book, and this locker, and I will run and get it for you and run it back out to the car, so that really the only person that needs to go into the buildings is me. This is how much you all mean to me. And then on Tuesday, the same thing, from 12 noon to 1 p.m., there will be another opportunity for families to do this drive up to get some books. Our wonderful nurse, Lisa May Costa, she has also let me know that for any families who still have medication here on campus, because I know that some families are having a difficult time getting those prescriptions filled just with everything that's going on. If you need to access that here on campus, if you just reach out to her directly at costa@providencecountryday.org, she will be happy to facilitate that medication pickup. Access to Kevin and to other staff, and then just some upcoming virtual events. So again, I hope that everyone feels very comfortable reaching out to me at any point, whether it's over email. I'm also happy to share my cell phone number. Please don't take advantage of that. I think some of the other key folks that you need to be in touch with, if you're in the upper school, Jen Aitken is your point of contact. For the middle school, it's going to be Jen Calitri. For any tech concerns, it's going to be Justin King. For maybe some hybrid communication tech issues, it might be Greg Abel. And then of course, Mark McLaughlin, since he's been here for a long time, or maybe since he says since the Stone Age, I think it is. You can also feel free to reach out to Mark. He has just a ton of information. A few upcoming events. On Monday the 30th at 3 p.m., all of our advisory groups are going to meet. So one of the action steps from our teacher prep day on Monday is that every single advisor is going to send out a Zoom link to their advisor.
Yeah, I've got it on the computer, so perfect. I'll hang up now.
You can just mute, whoever that is.
Jen?
Okay. So advisors will send out those links on Monday. Advisees, please look in your inbox for that. On Monday evening, and the time is still to be determined, Mr. Roderick, Mr. Ward, Ms. Aitken, Mr. McLaughlin, and me, along with the other senior advisors, we are going to meet with the senior class. I think even though all of our students have been dramatically impacted by this turn of events, I've really been thinking a lot about the senior class. Just this, these final months are supposed to be this fun kind of culminating experiences. And a lot of these things are just in jeopardy right now. So wanted to make sure that I was paying extra attention to them. So seniors, make sure that you are paying attention to your inbox for that Zoom link. On Monday morning at 7 o'clock, there's going to be a coffee with Kevin. I will send out a Zoom link to all of our students, parents, and teachers. really just going to be kind of my office hours. If anyone has questions, concerns, if you just want to hang out, shoot the breeze. And then Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, March 31st, it's going to be fun with the Folans. Rachel and I just want to hang out with you guys, answer questions, or just try to build community. So look for some links for those events. Upcoming decisions. And I hate to be coy about some of this stuff, but the truth is that I just don't have a lot of these answers right now. A couple of the things that my leadership team and I that we've been talking about, grading and assessments. What is this going to look like? I know that on a lot of the listservs and just conversations that we've been having with colleagues, some schools are considering, do we move this trimester or final quarter to a pass-fail? We have not made that decision just yet. I still believe that the small size of our community and the fact that our teachers are still going to be able to deliver these small class settings, even though it's going to be virtual, I still think this is going to give us a real advantage as we continue. So the grading and the assessments, just kind of stay tuned on that. A lot of our extracurricular activities, athletics, music concerts, the musical and the play, right now, just a lot of these things are up in the air. We are in contact with the Rhode Island Interscholastic League and with NEPSAC, which is the prep school league, as we continue to just figure out what's the next right thing for us to do. Regarding the play, so there were just discussions about moving this to early June, focusing more on the actors having a chance to perform perhaps with a minimal set. Google Classroom right now is set up, thanks to Ms. Sosin, for students in the musical, and Ms. Sosin will be reaching out to you folks directly. Spring exams in the upper school. I know that last year we made a move to move exams, spring exams up into late April. Right now, that is very much up in the air. One of the things we're going to talk about Monday night with the seniors is senior projects. Again, I think one of the real hallmarks of the senior year is the senior project. I know that a number of our seniors have done a ton of work and have set up some really exciting projects. I know that a lot of these organizations have proactively reached out to seniors to let them know that they are canceling these projects because of COVID-19. So we want to figure out what can we do to best support our seniors due to these extraordinary circumstances. Talk to Mr. Ward, our college counselor. He will be sending out a note in the coming days to set up private meetings with our juniors and senior families. I know that a number of our junior families in particular, they had, you folks had college visits planned for spring break. You weren't able to do that. And so rather than just delaying the college process, we want to make sure that even though you won't be able to meet with Mr. Ward face-to-face, we're going to do our very best to make sure you can still have these virtual conversations right here and now so that you are prepared to hopefully do some of these visits over the summer. The College Board continues to send out updated information about SATs and the ACT. And the AP exam this spring is going to look drastically different. Mr. Ward will also send out some updated information on that. But my understanding right now is that the AP exams are still going to happen. It's going to be virtual. Instead of a long 3 or 4 hour AP exam, it's going to be 45 minutes, and it's going to be predominantly writing. The final thing I wanted to talk about with upcoming decisions is just, senior commencement. I am really hoping that by the middle of June, all of this is over with. I don't have a crystal ball, so I simply don't know. What we are committed to is having an in-person physical commencement. I want that to take place on our scheduled date in June. If for whatever reason that can't happen, I am committed to having it later in July and August, whenever we need to do it. Now I am going to start talking about technology, so I'm going to do a screen share with you. Again, thanks to Justin King, our IT director, and Greg Abel, our communications director. We have a ton of information on our website. Okay, so if you folks, you want to follow along with me, if you go to our website, this pop-up menu is going to show up. And so this is the link to our virtual town hall right now. And then the more information is posted right here. And then this will bring you into a ton of different resources. So Google Classroom, Gmail, plus portals, these are the foundation for PCD's virtual classrooms. Please confirm the ability to log in. I really want to make sure that we start to work out the kinks now, as opposed to Wednesday morning. I want to make this clear. There is no login that is necessary for Zoom. There is a test link that is right here. You should try that out. I hate to be rude, but someone is not muted right now, and just a lot of background noise. So it's mute.
No, never helped him.
Evan, this is Jason. I think you have full control over mute. You can mute the whole, if you're the administrator.
I know. I was just hoping to not do that because of some of my people. All right, I think that's better. I hope. So again, there's no login that's necessary for Zoom. The test one is right here. The class schedule is going to be right here. Mr. Roderick has done a fantastic job of posting a ton of information.
Bud, get over here.
I guess I was wrong. I think during these times, it's really, really easy for us to get kind of lost in just focusing on the academic piece. Ton of information right here on what we can do both physically and mentally to make sure that we are at our very best. And as always, Mr. Roderick is available if you need to schedule a one-on-one phone call or Zoom call. Students all have invitations to their individual Google Classrooms. You just need to log in and accept this invitation into your Google Classroom. Prior to the break, and I don't want to point anyone out, all students received a tech survey. 117 students completed the survey. Others did not. And really in the survey, we really just wanted to discern, does everyone have a laptop? Does everyone have access to Wi-Fi? And trying to assess, folks' comfort level with technology. And given that all of our kids have grown up as digital natives, the early feedback that we got was that kids were feeling very comfortable with pretty much all of these platforms. Please make sure, again, before Wednesday morning that you have all of this technology set up, and please contact Mr. King if you have any questions or needs. And again, if you continue to go through some of these resources on this website page, I think you'll find this very, very helpful. Students should have access to speakers or headphones along with a microphone. A headset is ideal. Students also need to have a webcam. Okay. Mr. King has also uploaded a ton of informational videos so that you can follow along. Tutorials. This might actually be more helpful for the parents so that you folks know what's going on. Because Mr. King has been inundated with emails, he's also set up a direct inbox for him. So if you want to contact Mr. King for some of these questions, it's right here, support@providencecountryday.org. And so again, I thank you, Mr. King, for all this work.
Mr. King.
And then the final thing I wanted to talk about before I go to Q&A is just another friendly reminder that on Monday afternoon, 3 p.m., advisees will have a link to a Zoom call to connect with their advisory groups. Okay, so I think that takes care of all of our agenda items, and there are
Oh, I missed the whole thing.
a lot of chat questions over here. All right, so one question, do we have to show our faces during the virtual classes? You know what? I'm gonna punt that question to your teachers. I will allow them to make that decision. I think that might be above my pay grade. If graduation is post-June, could students still face expulsion or discipline in the months prior? Asking for a friend. I don't know. That's a good question. I hope that everyone continues to behave themselves, whether they are PCD students or recent graduates. Are all teachers, faculty going to be properly informed about acronyms? I'm not sure what that means. Is it possible to watch classes later in the day? Not sure we have Wi-Fi for 6 Zoom meetings at once. That's a great question. I know that's something that we are navigating here at home in the Folan household. Yes, the plan right now is that our classes are going to be recorded. Again, we also want to make sure that this is not going to be an excuse for students to not attend class. We want to make sure that students are participating live during class. Because again, the added value of the synchronous schedule is that students and teachers can have that live engagement. Of course, if there are connectivity issues, one, yes, these videos will be available later in the day, but two, also just let your teacher know. Make sure that they are aware that you're not just ditching their class because you have something better to do. Are we going to use Zoom the whole day for classes? Yes, we are. So you are going to get individual Zoom invitations from each of your teachers. So you're not just going to be on one Zoom call for the rest of the day. Again, a lot of the guidance that we've gotten from our peers out on the West Coast is that you choose one video platform. If we were toggling between Google Meets or Blue Jean or FaceTime or Zoom, I think that would only add to some of the confusion. So at this juncture, we are really committing to using the Zoom platform.
Should download Zoom onto your tablet.
Computer.
PSSC only has 4 students. Can we just meet in person with 6 feet of social distance? At this point, I'm going to say no. I really want to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to flatten the curve and to make sure that we're following, kind of CDC guidelines. So I'm asking at this point that no students are going to be on campus. Teachers right now are aware that if they want to come into their classrooms to conduct some of these classrooms, they can. I think Justin has also done a really nice job of making sure that all of our teachers can conduct all of their classes from the comfort of their own home, though. Mr. King, I hope that you can help me with this question. With free Zoom accounts, we need to log back in every 45 minutes. Will this be overridden for our classes?
No, you don't have to log back in. So there's no time restriction that's been lifted.
Good man. Mr. King, I'm trying to figure out how to get to the top of the chat here. There's a ton of different questions here that I'm unable to see at this juncture. And it seems like I can't just scroll up.
I have a scroll bar.
Okay.
Let me see.
Do folks maybe want to start raising their hand so that if there are kind of live questions, we can do it now? And by raise hand, I don't mean physically raise your hand. I mean to use that kind of blue button.
Or you could retype your question.
Retype the question. Okay. So will the teacher send us a link for the class on Zoom on email? Yes, you will get those emails.
Yep, so you're going to get it through email. It'll also be posted in Google Classroom and on Plus Portals. And it's also located under Team Drives. For tech files, there's a list. Each teacher has a static link, so that link will never change as long as you go there. During your class time, you'll be able to meet with your teacher.
Isn't the schedule where we have each class 1 out of every 2 days instead of 6 out of 7 days going to substantially slow pacing of classes? If so, what is the potential solution? Ms. Aitken, do you mind responding to that thoughtful question?
Sure. So I think some of the other lessons we've learned is that, we could have run a full, 8:05 to 3:05 class day, but I think that would have been a lot for all of us to try and do virtually. So the every other day is more about interactions and meetings. So it could be that teachers are still asking you to do work on the day that your class doesn't meet. Of course, it's not going to be exactly the same, so the pacing will be a little different, and we're talking about how we can adjust that, and it will all depend on when we're back on campus and if we're back on campus. But teachers are trying to figure out ways that they can keep it moving forward, also knowing that you don't have the same level of access as you would if you were here on campus.
Thank you. And at the end of the day, this is certainly not the way that we wanted this to go. And I think back to one of the 3 guidelines that I'm trying to kind of set for this early period is that we need to be flexible, we need to be nimble. Just because this is the schedule that we will have for April 2nd, 3rd, and 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, doesn't mean that this is what we are going to commit to for the long haul. We are going to be proactively reaching out to you, what's working well, what's not working as well, and then adjusting accordingly. I know that another question came in about virtual dissections and science labs. Ms. Aitken, can I ask for your assistance again?
Sure. So virtual dissections for AP Bio, I know Ms. Gilardi has already identified where those can be found online. What I don't know is if those are now still going to be covered on the exam. So she may be doing a little looking into what the content would be to see if that's something you need to focus on. I know you all had started with your cats prior to break, so I'm not sure what the status of that would be, but there are a number of virtual resources available, but it will probably depend on if the exam is still going to cover them. I can also jump in on the quizzes and tests question if you want.
Please.
There is a question about taking quizzes and tests on Google Forms. I think, again, if with the whole approach of taking it day by day, teachers are probably going to be looking for alternate assessments or looking for ways, maybe if a test is more of a take-home or open note or open book, or more of a written assessment. I think it will really depend on the class and depend on the teacher. For now, I think if we find that we're going to be out longer than a couple of weeks, we may be looking at, software that is specifically designed for test taking online. But right now, it's again up to the teacher, and I think we're all trying to think about creative ways that we can have you demonstrate learning without having to sit and try to do a test in the same traditional way you would do it here.
Thank you. Are we set to be done with school on the same day as we were prior to online classes? Idalia, I know that you are eager to extend the school year and see me well into July and August. Right now, I don't know the answer to that. I think we will have to see how, one, I think just how long this goes, and then 2, how much coursework we are able to cover. Will there be homework assignments given? You know, it's funny. I mean, if you think about it now, I mean, won't all of the learning that we do right now, won't it all be homework? I mean, I'm assuming what you mean is, will there be work given outside of the class times? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Wishful thinking there, right? I bet. Are those homeroom meetings in the morning required or just for updates if they're needed? Mr. McLaughlin, let me put you on the spot. You've been quiet. I miss hearing your voice. What do you think about that?
I think we will look forward to seeing everybody at those homeroom meetings, Mr. Follen.
Absolutely. Okay, for a class like math, I have to question the integrity of students. I know lots of peers can grab their phone and use photo math, which just gives them the answer. For someone who works really hard, what's the protocol here? Yep, that's a good question. I think these are some of the things that we've been exploring as a leadership group. I know that Monday and Tuesday, when we really start to dive into this more headfirst as teachers, especially in the math department, I think this is one of the questions that we will need to answer. So thank you. Do we need to attend the office hours on the schedule? I think just like when it's here on campus, you don't have to attend the office hours. I think what I also want to make sure, I don't want our teachers working 24/7. And so this is going to be specified allotted time for the teachers where they will be available to meet and to engage either one-on-one or in small groups. I really encourage you to try to attend the office hours, but it is not mandated. Is the high school schedule set yet? The schedule shown appeared to be for the middle school. Nope, the schedule that we sent along was for both the high school and the middle school.
I think the confusion might be that the middle school classes were listed. The upper school, it just said the class period. So upper school, it says upper school A period, upper school B period. So whatever your normal schedule would be during those class periods, that's what's meeting during that time. Middle school, since it runs on a slightly different rotation, those were just spelled out.
What do we do for free periods? And what do we do if we have a free first period?
Well, no, because we didn't get the schedule.
I mean, a free period, I mean, whether it's virtual or it's here on campus, the expectation is that you are going to use that time to the very best of your ability. If it's going to be taking a break, if it's reading a book, if it's doing some more work, I think this responds to one of the three guideposts that I've outlined, either stay or get curious. I mean, how can we use this as an opportunity to either further our learning or to gain some enrichment experiences? On the 5th middle school block on a red day, there was no class listed for the 8th grade. Is there supposed to be class? Ms. Calitri, can you help me with that?
Sure. Raymond, I know the block that you're talking about. There is no class that period. That would be like one of your classes would drop out. So that would be like a free for you.
Thank you, Ms. Calitri. So I know that there was a question just about the Learning Center, and are folks still going to get some of that one-on-one time with Ms. Clark, Ms. Sanford, and Ms. Haas? Yes, they will. Ms. Aitken, I don't know if there's anything you want to expand on there.
I can just say that we are working together to put some scheduled times that will fit during the office hours, similar to, if your TLC time is usually happening during a study hall. Those teachers are setting up a schedule of individual support that would happen during the office hours. So you could have that one-on-one time, again, either by Zoom or email or phone, whatever works best there.
Thank you. will band and chorus be meeting? Ms. Aiken, I know that you were working on that.
So they may not need to meet every single day. You should be, again, either through Plus Portals or Google Classroom or email. Can't emphasize enough, you got to check your PCD email frequently over the next couple of weeks as we do this. What Mr. Rapko or Ms. Osen or even your visual arts teachers may be doing is giving you an assignment or something to rehearse during that time. So maybe you're checking in with them once or twice individually, but actually expected to rehearse during that time instead. So just keep an eye on your Google Classroom, Plus Portals, email, and really clearly communicating that.
Thank you. We missed the beginning of the call since we were locked out. Sorry about that. Do you see virtual learning going through the end of the school year? I don't know. I know that a lot of colleges and universities have made that early jump, and I think a lot of that is just because of the residential component that they have to deal with. I think one of the advantages of being a day school is that we don't really have to deal with that. I think the caveat there is with some of our international students. What do they do? And so right now, I'm really just trying to make decisions in conjunction with some of the direction we're getting from Governor Raimondo. Couple of just nice comments here. Thank you. Will we have art class? Absolutely. Seeing Miss Carl there, yeah, raising the roof a little bit. I don't know, anything you want to say, or I know that Miss Minucci is on. I think you're muted right now, Miss Carl.
Miss Carl and I have a meeting right after this meeting, a Zoom meeting, to talk about our advanced studio class in detail. I've already posted watercolor assignments for those kids, and we're ready to go for the middlers. So there should be a lot of art getting made during this time.
I wasn't really allowed by Eleanor for a minute to talk here, but she had to leave the room.
Eleanor.
I know. Yeah, definitely. Miss Nucci and I have a nice list of projects started, and like she said, a discussion planned. We're looking forward to it. It's a different way of teaching for sure, but it's a challenge and we're ready to take it. Right, Miss Minucci?
That's right, Miss Carl. You bet.
I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, me too.
And then just a couple of nice comments in the chat box, just that, you know, got kids in college and they've been doing it for about a week or a month, and it's going really, really well. So thank you for that. Is there a dress code? Let's keep up the PCD dress code. I'll probably catch some flack for that. That's okay. My 7-year-old has been doing it for a week. First couple days were bumpy, but good after that. Yeah, my 5 and 7 and 9-year-olds are doing it for 3 days now, and it's very bumpy. So I can relate. Is there any requirement for attendance during free periods in study halls? No. Ms. Minucci, Nick wants AP Art History to continue. Good.
I was just responding to that. Yeah, it's definitely going to continue full speed ahead and all ready to go. So I'll be looking for Nick. Tell him to sign up for his Google Classroom because he has not yet done it.
Ho ho, called out.
Just saying.
Love it. All right, how will prospective students who are looking to apply be able to take the test needed to get in? You know, I'm not sure if you know, but the PCD admissions team, Ms. Parsons, Mr. Walsworth, Ms. Palazzo, they never rest. So if you know of families that are still interested in looking at PCD, you just let them know or you let me know. And I think given some of the challenges that I've heard in some of our, particularly school districts, and I've heard particularly school districts in Massachusetts right now, I would like to think that maybe PCD, that we could be a resource for some families that are grappling with this distance learning. How can we access the recording if we couldn't access the beginning of the meeting? Again, my apologies if you were locked out. I am recording it right now, and with Mr. King's help, I will send it out to everyone later on today. Have you heard anything about mock trial state championships? So the Wednesday before we went into break, so I believe it was March 11th, our mock trial team defeated Bayview Academy in the semifinals. I was there. It was incredible. Our kids are fantastic. And at this point, I don't know. I got a really nice note from, I think Ms. Menudo, just kind of communicating with us that they're trying to figure this out. So to be determined.
And Mr. Folan, the courts are still closed, and as soon as the courts open, we'll know a better idea whether the competition is going to go forward.
Thank you, Mr. Marcello. Appreciate it. Was there any discussion related to graduation? Yes, there was. So unless something really unusual happens, I mean, my plan right now is to have an in-person physical graduation. My hope is that that will happen in June as scheduled. If this thing goes on into late June, into July, I think one of the benefits of having a day school where the majority of our student population is within driving distance, we could just potentially push that date further back into summertime. But I think it's really important that for commencement that we still have it here in person. Ms. Carl, what should we be doing for pottery?
Hi, there we are. Zane, was that you that asked that question? I've been thinking a lot about that. And again, it's a challenge, but I think we're going to have some fun with it. So we'll be doing things that require critical thinking, a lot of looking, online gallery looking in our cabinets and kind of disseminating what we love about the pots that we have. There's going to be some planning for wishful thinking of the pots that we're going to make when we come back. And I also wanted to do some research and look at things, pots and the ceramic tradition historically, both internationally, nationally, and locally. So stay tuned. You'll have an assignment posted on Google Classroom, and we'll just go one day at a time.
Great advice. Can we bring our pets to class? Yes, so long as they're not disruptive. When will we get to play sports? That's a good question. I don't know. Hope soon, I hope, but I don't know. We are nearing the end of our hour. Are there any other important questions for the group?
Sit.
If there isn't, so at this point, what I'd like to do, how will we turn in assignments? So we're going to turn in assignments on our Google Classroom. You're welcome for the meeting. So what I'd like to do right now, I would like to ask for maybe Miss Aitken, Miss Calitri, Mr. McLaughlin, Mr. King, Mr. Abel, if any of you folks have any final thoughts before we start to wrap up.
Just want to echo a lot of the comments I'm seeing on here about how doable this is. You know, we're in the same boat at our house. We have a elementary school student and a college student, just like the Kaloyans, and it's been a little bit of a learning curve, but it has been great. And just please know that everybody here has been working really hard over the last 2 weeks, you know, to put this together and make sure that we get off and running on the right foot. But we're going to be nimble, as Mr. Folan, just as we'll be really listening to you, you know, based on the experience you're having. feel free, right, to let us know what you're experiencing, but just approach this with flexibility of mind, and this is going to be great. It will work really well. Thank you, and please stay safe and stay healthy, everybody.
Yeah, I'd like to echo Mr. McLaughlin's words there. It's great to see everybody today. I look forward to these classes. I look forward to connecting with people again. Please, if you have questions or concerns, reach out. We're here. Email, we can set up Zoom meetings. But we're here and we'll help you through this, and we can do this.
Thank you.
And if anyone needs remote support, if they're having trouble at home, just please send me an email at support@providencecountryday.org, and we can set up a remote troubleshooting session. Okay.
Thank you.
And not much to add from me. Just again, it's nice to see everybody. I know I had text conversations with people that were excited about this meeting, just to connect again and see people's faces. So that's been great, just to reconnect and just communicate. Keep everyone posted. If anyone needs anything in the community, share that too. I know a lot of people are reaching out to their neighborhoods and friends, if they need any supplies or just need some support, feel free to do that. And again, we're all adjustable. And if we do this all with a sense of humor and some patience and forgiveness, I think we'll be fine.
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to mention that I think that the community spirit of PCD is one of the most important things we have, and it's really hard to maintain that when we're not on campus. So we're going to try to increase our social media participation a lot by offering a bunch of contests for students to participate in. We'll have prizes like Grubhub delivery gift cards and things like that. So if you have suggestions for what prizes you would like, email me. We'll probably start the first contest next week. We'll be looking for pictures that you guys can post. And hopefully have some fun with it. Any suggestions, send them my way. Thanks and be well.
Thanks, Greg. There is no doubt in my mind that this experience is going to make us all better teachers, hopefully better students, better parents. I thank you so much for your time. I mean, the number of emails I've gotten over the last several weeks, whether it's from parents, from alumni, from teachers, I've just been overwhelmed at the amount of support and patience and encouragement. A year ago, I was so grateful to be coming to PCD, and now that I'm here, I mean, despite these extraordinary circumstances, I just can't tell you how thankful I am that I'm here and that I'm with such a caring, supportive community. It's just about 2 o'clock. What I'm going to do, I am going to stay on for about another 15 minutes. So if folks just have a more direct conversation with me, feel free to do so. I know that one final question was just, are there any other events between now and Monday? No, I don't. Again, I don't want to schedule anything over the weekend. The only other upcoming events, right? So Monday, again, it's 3 p.m. on Monday. All advisory groups will be meeting. Monday evening, going to have a class meeting with the senior class. Monday morning, 7 a.m. There's going to be a coffee with Kevin. That is not mandatory, but again, I just want to make myself accessible to as many people as possible. And then Tuesday night at 8 p.m., Rachel and I, we're going to host a little, fun with the Folans, hang out with a drink or something like that, and connect. But other than that, teachers, I look forward to, seeing you Monday morning and making sure that we are all set for our exciting virtual launch on Wednesday. Pretty cool that we had, I think, 128 participants on this call today. I think a true testament to how eager we all are to connect and to get information on how best to support our kids and to navigate these unusual circumstances. I hope that everyone gets outside, enjoy this beautiful weather, while of course social distancing, and looking forward to this adventure with you. Okay, again, I'm going to stay on for another 15 or 20 minutes. Thanks again, everyone. Go Knights.
Go Knights, go Knights.
Go Knights.
All right, well, this was awesome. Great to see everyone.
Awesome.
Take care.
Thanks, Jeff.
Love you, Isaiah. You too. We love you guys. Love you, Isaiah.
Bye.
Bye.
Isaiah's he's gonna kill me for saying this, but I don't think they should have phones. No phones during the school day.
Yes, phones.
No phones.
No phones.
Yeah, Jeff.
Sorry, kids.
You unmute us, Aaron?
Are we the only people left?
There's like
Probably.
There's still 55 participants.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always 7th graders. Woo woo. Woo woo.
But one last thing, Kevin. You know, Bethany had organized a Zoom meeting for the 7th graders last week. And,
Oh yeah, I heard about it, and I heard I wasn't invited. Okay. Trying to get over that.
That's on you, Bethany.
Bethany said
I'm
she
sorry.
sent it to you.
You know, Kevin, you were invited to one of
It
these.
got lost in the, your invitation got lost in the mail.
No, Kevin, you were invited to one of the 7th grade socials, and you didn't come. So
Yeah.
no, but, no, seriously, Bethany had organized a Zoom meeting for the 7th graders, and when we hung up, Melanie and I, you know, we were emotional about it because, you know, we had gone through a week and a half of this virus stress, and I definitely think it's important at some point during the day that, or at least the teachers should try not to block all the people, all the kids from view. I think there's some importance to them seeing each other and being able to maybe goof around a little bit and let off some steam. I think it's important.
Agreed.
We were on for 2 hours. We had an awesome call.
It was so fun. It was so fun.
It was so
You don't
fun.
have to
And it
rub
was
it in. You don't have to rub it in, okay? I was already feeling jealous, and now it's even worse.
well, I'm going to schedule another one maybe for Sunday.
Brady
Yes.
was there.
Yes.
Tom Brady was there.
What?
Tom Brady was there.
Oh yeah, Tom Brady.
He was?
Tom
All the way,
Brady did
all the way
check.
from Tampa Bay?
Yeah, be
How you
quiet.
feeling, Tina? How you feeling about that?
Terrible.
I must
See
have
how
been.
my season goes, and I'll let you know. Isaiah, you're hot.
Let's
Hey
keep it
Tina,
PG.
I really
Let's keep it
liked your
PG.
music video on Facebook.
Like that?
Oh my